all applications will be collected by Common App and then disseminated to the various universities. Basically, they'll drop into their servers once you apply. Okay. Are you all in grade 12 or 11?
12.
12. Okay. So the good thing about Common App is it's fine for you now, that although the Common App is launched on 1st of August, so if you're already in grade 12, you have to wait till 1st of August. But from last year, you can start the application now and roll over. So when you start the Common App, you have to say, I'm applying for 2019 entry. So they'll know that actually your application will go next year, but you've started on the 2018 application. So that's another good thing that has happened very recently. So I thought I should tell you. First things first. The immediate thing you need to do when you start any, and you all do so many of these apps and things like that, is give your email address. Please have a sensible email address, not Arjun Punk or disco dancer or something hideous like that, because you're applying to university. And kids do it, okay? So don't look at each other and be surprised. You know, Princess Daisy, something silly like that. Have just your name, simplest one to have. If you can't get your name with a number, and get yourself a sensible email ID. I would recommend a Gmail, simply because you may be using Google Docs or so many other things later on. A Gmail just makes life a little bit easier. So for those of you who are still on Hotmail and Yahoo email IDs, you could use that for personal stuff. Get yourself a sensible email ID for your college applications. Okay, because that's the very first thing they are going to ask you when you start your account. Once you start your account, the second thing they'll ask you is which year you're applying in, and you'll say you're applying for 2019 entry. And then, of course, the personal details. The Common App form is a horrible, long form which needs time to fill up. Okay. And if any of you have ever applied for a US visa, anything that you do with the US is in full detail. They will ask you which school and college your parents went to, everything under the sun, how many brothers and sisters you have. So it's not just an academic form, it's a personal detailed form as well. But it's easy. You just have to have everything in order and keep it all standby. You must have your reports of class 9, 10, 11 with you when you start the form, because you'll be asked to upload your achievements and academic grades and things like that, which will again be collated against your transcript that the school will send. So be careful. Don't ever try and make up things and say you came first in class. The school will say that rank, so you'll get caught. Stick to the truth and fill the form as honestly as possible. So as I mentioned, the Common App is pretty much what you all will use, unless you're an art student. For art applications, there are usually, you can apply through the Common App, but most students tend to apply individually to universities, because then they don't have to write all the essays that the Common App expects. Okay. So just to give you a structure of the Common App, there's the main Common App application. And then every university that you apply to has a supplementary application, which is the second part of the Common App application. So there's one main Common App application, which has all your personal details, this, that, and all. The supplementary has to do with each college. So it's a different application, but it's linked to Common App. The supplementary application will not have all these details repeated. It will have basically essays, many essays, and I'll come to the essay part. But it'll ask you things like which major in our college are you interested in, may ask you some minor academic details in detail, you know. So what happens really is whilst you're filling the Common App out, nobody can access it other than you. Okay, you will of course do waive your right to see the recommendations, which means that your school will be able to access your Common App so that they can upload your recommendations. So they can get an idea of what you're doing on your Common App, but there'll still be areas that even the school cannot access. The main Common App remains in cyberspace until you make a payment for a college. Say, for example, you're applying to NYU, Georgia Tech, and Georgetown, just for example, these 3 universities. You'll fill the main Common App essay. You'll start filling out their supplementary applications for all the 3 universities. It's all sort of waiting there on the servers. Nothing is going anywhere till you complete it. The day, so when you complete, say, NYU, and you say pay and send, it goes and drops in NYU's server in their university, okay? And they can access it. Otherwise, it remains in cyberspace till the payment is made, okay? There's a lot of noise today. There's some movement in the class.
No, the fan probably, I don't know. There's no sound actually from our class.
Oh, okay.
It's very noisy.
Yeah, very noisy. Just like somebody's moving furniture around. It's almost that noisy.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because nothing.
Something.
I think it's catching something.
Just move the laptop or whatever it is away from any individual, because even the breathing, I mean, I can hear.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Okay, so now let me start with the questions that you all had posed. So what is the procedure to apply through Common App? As I mentioned, the first thing is you have to start a Common App account, give your email, there will also ask you what school you're applying for. If your school has a CEB code, you'll find your school in the drop-down menu. If it doesn't have a CEB code, which is the Common App code, and I'm sure our company is helping you get a CEB code, then you can even just type in, you say not found, and type in the name of your school. Okay, so that's the very first thing, and then you'll start filling out the form. Please remember your password and your username, because if it gets lost, it's a huge pain, like it is with anything. So as soon as you start your form, make a note somewhere of your password and your username. Okay, so that is the procedure to apply. You just have to go to commonapp.org and you'll find it there. Just do Common App application and you'll find it on Google. It's very easy. Okay, so now you've asked me, what are the details of the Common App? I'm going to walk you literally through, and I'm, while we speak, opening a sample Common App form so that I'm able to tell you exactly what each section has in the Common App. So just give me a moment. You can ask me questions in the meantime, children, while I'm looking for this.
Are there any questions from us?
Anything? Okay, it's almost there. Nothing that you could think of? Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. We can start off. So first will be all your personal data. They'll ask you your legal name. When you fill in the name, please make sure that it is exactly what is on your passport. And what is on your passport should be exactly what is on your school transcript. Okay, so this may be a good time in the beginning of class 12 to figure out, does your school name, because sometimes what happens is if a child's name is Ramesh Kumar Sharma, in school the parents have written Ramesh Sharma, but in the passport it is Ramesh Kumar. All this can cause a problem later on, okay, because your visa will be as per what you've applied on the Common App. They'll send the I-20, so this can cause a problem. So just as an aside, I'm telling you that. Then other details will include your citizenship, place of birth, your email address, everything, email, home address, cell phone numbers, all of that. And then, of course, the big question of which term you're applying to. By and large, you all will apply to the fall term. Entry term will be fall, which is starting in between July and December. Could be September in some universities, could be October in some universities, could be August in some universities. The second section is about the family. So your parents' marital status, do they live with you? Do you live with your parents? What their addresses are, their country of birth, their employer name, their college degree, their school, the works. Okay. And then about your, if you're adopted, then your legal guardians, and then about your siblings. So all family details. The third section is academic, which will be what kind of school do you go to, when will you graduate, what is your school's address, what is your counselor's name, what is your counselor's email address, phone number, fax, all the schools you've been to. Okay, so if you've moved into DPS Sharjah recently, then which was the previous school you studied in, and all of that. Okay, and then if you've taken any college courses, so some children tend to do a summer school and have university credits, then you'll be asked to put those down as well. Okay. The fourth section is on standardized testing, where you'll put in your ACT and your SAT scores. If they are awaited, you will put down the date that you've booked the test for, but you'll say not yet taken, to be taken. There's an option to say date taken and to be taken. So you can do that as well. And similarly, you'll also be asked to put in your TOEFL or your IELTS score. Okay. And then they will ask you all the subjects that you've done under academic only in 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. So you need to put down, I've done English, language, English literature, first in 9th, then in 10th, the whole works. And if you've got any merits and things like that. The next section is about activities, which is basically your extracurricular activities, and you have only 10 spots for this. The activities cannot be before class 9. So anything you did in class 7 or 8 doesn't matter anymore. So if you won that singing competition in class 5, unfortunately, you can't put it down now. It is only activities that are in 9th on. But fill in your activities according to what is most important to you. So say that you are a table tennis player, and that is the biggest thing you are aside from your school studies. Then put that down right at the top. It could also be the level that you've got to. Maybe you're playing inter-school, maybe you're playing for state or a country or something like that. You won some big award, or you're an open tennis player or swing champion, whatever. So write what is most important to you. Your activity could be anything. It could be MUN, it could be sports, it could be music, theater, dance, it could be debating, it could be an instrument that you play. So, but make it most, so it's not put chronologically, it's put as per importance or the value of that application. Okay. So that's the activity section. And then you come to the writing section. The writing section is basically the main Common App essay, and I'll come back to that. There will also be a question on your disciplinary history. Have you ever been rusticated, or you've been asked to leave school, put on suspension? And there is also space for some additional information. So if you have some circumstances, some exceptional circumstances that you had no opportunity to put somewhere else, this is a good place in additional information to put it. Let me give you some examples. So say, for example, child has moved to this school in the middle of the term, but it's not showing on his transcript because they did do the half-yearly exams. But you can say, I moved in halfway through grade 11 and I want to mention it in my additional information. If you've done very poorly in class 10 because grandmother died or your father had an accident or something happened, this is a good place for you to give that information, you know. So if there is something like that, mitigating circumstances, the additional information section is for that reason. Okay. And then of course there's your signature, which you basically write down your name. uh, for to end this. Now I come to the main Common App essay. We have 6 options currently on the main Common App essay, and you have to write only one. So from the 6 options, you choose any one, and you need to write an up to 650 word essay. Okay? And I'm going to read out the prompts to you. They are basically personal information. I mean, they want to know more about you. Your main Common App essay and all your other essays are your it's your written interview. If they could meet you, they would have liked to meet you. But unfortunately, they can't meet students all over the world. So from the main Common App essay, I'm trying to gauge the person you are. What is your personality like? What are your interests? What will you bring to the university? How will you be a good fit at that university? Will you participate in everything? So the essays are not about your academics by and large. They are 80% about your personality. And when I read out the essay topics to you, you'll realize how personality driven they are. So of the 6 essays that you have, 7 actually have, because there's one essay of your choice. The first one is, some students have a background, identity, interest or talent that is so meaningful that they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So the background essay is usually something that consumes you, that has made you who you are. Okay? So when we had the Bombay blasts, the terrorist Bombay blasts, that year I had a lot of students who wrote about that because they lost their friends or their friends' parents in the Taj blast and the Trident blast and all of that. So they said this has changed our life forever. You know, we have friends who were there in our class today and not tomorrow. And I have to share this story because I don't think I'm the person today that I was yesterday. Okay? Other children a common background essay for children like yourself who are Indian but don't live in India is about being third culture kids. That my parents have moved many times, they have lived all over the world. But you remember, this essay is quite common. Okay? I meet so many because I've only talked to international students where they have probably been to 6 or 7 schools in their life. So you need to give an interesting twist on it, but it is a commentary on your life, that you have lived in many places or that you've never lived in your home country. Okay? And how is it different then for you to live here and be Indian in a country that is not India? So that is an interesting background essay. Currently, I'm working with a student who has written the background essay. He's writing it right now. And he has 3 M's in life. So actually 4. So he's writing about 4 M's and they are music. He's a musician who plays the miramba. It's an instrument which is like a meter long. It's a very unusual instrument, but it starts with an M. He is a mathematician. He's applying for a dual degree in maths and music. And he's currently working, finishing his military service in Singapore, which is a mandatory thing for all boys. So military, music, maths, and marimba. And that is his background story. It is who he is. These 4 things make him the person he is. Okay? So these are background essays, because this is also about talent. The second essay is, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? So this is the failure essay. Counselors like us, we call it the failure essay. It's a tough essay to write because we don't want you looking bad. Okay? We want you to come out looking good in it. So you have to focus on what did you learn from that experience. Children tend to write very predictable failure essays. I stood for student council and I didn't get voted and now, I'm ready to kill myself, So just remember that every kid in the world is going to a school where there's a student council and everybody's applying for that student council job. Boys tend to write about, on that big match day, I hurt myself and I couldn't play the match. So that's like the favorite boy essay. Okay. So these are really predictable. I think you need to think carefully on what would be a failure essay. I had a student who turned vegan. And as you may know, vegan people don't have milk, they don't have cheese, they don't have, of course, anything non-vegetarian, egg, everything. And obviously her parents were freaking out because they thought that, if she doesn't have milk and all those things, how will she grow healthy? But what she didn't realize is that turning vegan also means that she couldn't eat anything in the school canteen. Everything had cheese in it, or they had milk in it, or it had non-veg in it, or it had something or the other that was non-vegan. She couldn't go out with her friends in the evening because she couldn't even eat ice cream, And how all the things that are vegan ice cream is made of rice basically, is very expensive. And as a student, she couldn't afford that. So her social life suffered and then she gave it up. And so that was her failure essay. But she said, I'm going to come back when I earn enough and I can buy vegan, because she believes in animal PETA and all that. She's a member of the PETA and all of that. So she's obviously very much into saving the animals. And so that was her failure essay. It was very well written. And I think she really did a good job on it. So think the failure essay through carefully. Reflect on a time when you questioned a challenge or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? So this is the challenge essay. And usually it has to be something that is quite a settled belief or norm, either in your school or at home. So for example, I had a child who wrote about being vegetarian on Tuesdays because her family expected it and she didn't believe in it. What is this nonsense? Through the week we can eat non-veg, but Tuesdays we don't have to eat. So that, and how she fought with her grandmother for it and really got into a lot of trouble. But that, and how, what she learned from it. She said, sometimes we can't argue belief. My grandmother's very strong belief that I have to be vegetarian on Tuesday. So that was the outcome. So that is the challenge. The fourth one is describe a problem you've solved or a problem you'd like to solve. It can be an intellectual challenge, a research query, an ethical dilemma. Anything that is of personal importance to you, no matter the scale. Explain its significance to you and what steps you took or could be taken to identify a solution. So here, this could be an academic problem. So you've been doing some research on some physics, something or the other, and did you find the answer or not? Or it could be an ethical question. Do you believe in abortion? Do you believe in casteism? So many ethical questions out there, or religious questions. Or it could be a research query, like I mentioned. A lot of children who do the IB, they talk about their extended essay in this one. So that is the fourth. The fifth is discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. So it has to be an event that happened in your life that made you grow up. Sometimes I had a student who wrote about his parents going bankrupt and how that changed his life. When he was in middle school, this happened, and then how, their circumstances changed and how then he felt that was a very growing up phase for him, or somebody who's been through an extraordinary event that causes them to grow differently or grow as a person. It could be a sickness, it could be other things like that. The sixth one is describe a topic, idea, or concept that you find so engaging that it makes you lose track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? So if you are really into computers, for example, and you just want to keep on reading about it, studying about it, then that you could write. But it shouldn't be frivolous. I play games on the computer, so I enjoy it. No, it has to be something that really excites you. You're reading, you're educating yourself, you have a mentor to turn to who will tell you more. So think it through. That is what it is. And the last and seventh essay is share an essay of any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. This essay, children tend to think is very easy, but you have to remember that it has to tell them about you. From the other essay prompts, you can understand that everything about these essays is about you. They want to know more about you. So choose an essay that will tell them whatever you write should be giving them information about you as a person. So this, with the essay, you would have completed the main Common App form. Okay. And but this is not the supplementaries. The supplementaries are different for every single college you apply. Okay, and we'll come to that later. So these are the second question I've answered. What exactly can you write in your essay to make us stand out? Okay, so a lot of kids think that, you know, what can I do to impress the reader? My advice to you is, firstly, it should be honest. It should be about you. It is not about something that somebody else can write for you. It is not about fancy English. It is about just writing honestly from the heart. Okay? And just remember that when you go for an interview, when you're older, you'll go for many interviews. When you go for an interview, what is the interviewer looking? He's looking to see, are you confident? What is your story? Who are you? Will you fit into this organization? Should I hire you or not? Do you have the skills that it takes to be here? The same as for the essay. It is about all about you. How can you so make your essay interesting? If I start reading your essay and lose interest in paragraph 2, that means not good, very boring, you know. So get other people to read your essay. Are they motivated to come to the end? Do they know more about you by the end of it? So that is very important. Your essay has to be about your personality. It should be interesting. It should be readable. It should keep them hooked. And they should know more about you. And say, okay, let me get this kid to college. He or she seems really interesting. Okay? What I tend to do with my students when I'm advising them on Common App, I say, all the essays, think what can you write for all these 7 topics. Write them down. Then discuss them with the counselor. On this essay, I can write about this. On this essay, because sometimes, you know, you think you have a lot to say and in 4 lines, it's finished. You have to write 650 words. So what is the story that you can develop enough to keep it interesting? So the first task for you is at least 4 or 5 of the topics, try and find a link to your life and put it down in bullet points, and then see which of them you have the most bullet points and make that into your essay. Then come to making it interesting, how to keep the reader hooked. It's like any story, beta. If you start a storybook and it's not interesting, you'll put it down. Similarly, if your essay is boring, the admissions officer is going to put it down. You know, children write about, oh, but you know, my failure is that I wanted to come first and get 100 on 100, but I didn't get it, and I didn't get that 10 CGPA, and oh my God, disaster. Nobody wants to hear that. It's everybody's story. We all want to do better than we are doing right now. You know, I want to be a better counselor than I am today. But how do you do it? What are you doing? You know, so that is very important. Okay, someone's asked about chemical engineering. Is the child here today?
Yeah.
Anybody in chemical engineering?
Yeah.
Okay. So any of these questions, there's another one on computer science and gaming design. There are 5,000 colleges. There is no answer to this question because there are just too many colleges. And what may be good for you is not good for somebody else. This is a question that your counselor has to answer and help you. Choosing a university depends on many, many factors. Your grades from 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, your extracurricular in school and outside of school, your standardized test. How have you done in the SAT? How have you done in the SAT subjects test? So these are the things, primary. Then we come to, do you want to go to a cold place or a hot place? Do you want to be near family and friends in America? The rankings are very easy to find, beta. You can just Google top computer science colleges in the US and you'll get a list starting from MIT to Berkeley to Stanford and Harvard and all of that. But you can't get into all of them. That depends on your personal profile and the way your essays are. So for any subject, I keep saying this every time I meet you all, it's not like I want to study IIT. I want to study engineering. So in India, they're the IITs, they're the regional engineering colleges. I'm going to sit for the joint entrance exam and try for everything. But unfortunately, here there's no joint entrance exam. Here we have to apply to a college. That college, so it's like saying, if you were in India, because you're familiar with India, and they are all the IITs and they're all the regional engineering colleges, you look at your grade and say, just suppose they didn't have a joint entrance exam. Everybody who gets into IIT has a rank in 50, for example. I don't have a rank, so maybe I should apply because I'm not going to get it. And maybe I have good enough to get regional engineering. Or maybe I should try, or then maybe I should try a private engineering colleges. So it depends on the profile of each child. I can't give you an answer for any subject. There are 5,000 universities in the US. There are another 100, 200 in Canada, another 100, 200 in UK, and then there are dozens of other countries. So if a child comes to me and he says, I've got 1550 on my SAT, I've got 10 CGPA, and I'm going to end up with a 99%. I'm also a head boy of the school, and I play basketball, and I do this, that, and the other. I say, okay, now let's make a list of your kind of colleges. You tick a lot of the boxes, but still, we're not going to just apply to dream colleges. We have to have target colleges. We have to have safe colleges. Okay. So similarly, for any subject, and for all of you who would be applying to the US. Okay. Just for your information, chemical engineering, number 1 is MIT, then University of California, Berkeley, Georgia Tech, Stanford, Wisconsin-Madison, University of Texas, Austin, Caltech. Those are all the great colleges for chemical engineering. For computer systems engineering, MIT, California, Berkeley, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Georgia Tech, Michigan, Ann Arbor, University of Texas, Austin, Cornell, Caltech, which is California Institute of Technology, University of Washington, Purdue. There's a huge list of some 200 colleges that offer. So what you need to do is, once you have a sort of resume prepared with all the stuff, because the US will also look at all your extracurricular activities, the community service you've done, the work experience you have, the internships you've done over the summer, and then decide, have you taken part in some science Olympiad? Have you taken part in maths Olympiad? The big colleges will look at all this. Then the next year will say, okay, maybe we don't look so much at the Olympiads, but we want all. There's a college for every child in the world. The child that gets a 5 on his CGPA also, there's a college. So there's no right answer for this because I don't know your profile. Okay? Some more information about deadlines and due dates of the application. Very good question. So the Common App is launched on 1st of August. The first deadline is the early decision deadline, which is 1st November. Okay. So you have August, September, and October to complete it. By end of October, all early decision, early action universities, and all universities don't offer this facility, but those who do, and if you're applying to them, that is the first deadline. The second deadline is 31st December. All applications have to be in. 1st January is too late to send any application. Okay. There are some colleges which are not ranked, which have rolling admission and go on after December, 31st December, but I don't think you all are applying to many of those. Okay. So by and large, you can go with 31st December as your deadline for applications. How should we include our extracurricular activities and which ones should be prioritized? I've given you the answer to this by virtue of importance, how well you've done and how important it is. So to give you an example, if my student has played state level hockey, but only till class 10, and then played school level hockey, I'll tell him, and right now he's in class 12, I'll tell him to put his state level in the okay? Because that is deed. Okay? And I may say, it's okay, don't even bother mentioning school level. Maybe he stopped playing because he was sitting for his IIT and he was prepared. Similarly, if you be doing MUN all your life, but it is in class 12 that you became a delegate and you participated in some MUN where you got some award or prize or whatever, then that could be a good one. As per how well you've done in it and how important it is for you and how it looks good on your team. And there's no, I mean, the prioritization is again on importance, not on chronological order or anything like that. Okay. Do all colleges in the US or UK or Canada require me to write essays on the same topic? No. So what we haven't discussed today is the supplementary essays. So good colleges need between 3 to 5 supplementary essays. Harvard, Stanford had up to 10 supplementary essays. Essays is the biggest nightmare. Okay, it's the hardest part of doing this application. Essays are of different types. They could be abstract essays. Abstract. Like what is odd about odd numbers? Do you like mistakes? Abstract topics like that. Then there could be the why you essay. Why should we take you? You're sitting there in DPS Sharjah. Why should I take you? So it will be framed differently. It will say, please write a letter to a future dormmate of yours telling them what you bring to the dorm. It's not the physical thing, but the person you are. So they want to know more about you. Why should I take you? Okay. How will you participate in life at University of Michigan? Something. That is again the why you went. Then we are the why us essays. Write 650 words on why you want to join NYU. Why NYU? Why B? Why this? They are asking you why you are a good fit in our university. They don't want you to tell them, oh, I want to come to Stanford because it's highly ranked, because it has very good professors. They know all this. They know how brilliantly ranked they are. I'm coming to Stanford because I think I'll get a good job here. Obviously, they want to know why you. Why should they even take you? What is it that connects you with X university? Maybe it's some community service project that they do and you've done a lot of community service. Maybe they're doing research in physics in the area that you're interested in. So it has to be something quite specific and it won't be found on the homepage of that university's website. You'll have to do research and actually come to find out. And children write about, just hobbies and their Greek life and things like that interest them, makes them want to go there, or their open curriculum that you are allowed to choose whatever you want to study. I want to do that. I'm a liberal arts type of kid. So those are the why us essays. And then there could be academic essays on why do you want to apply for this major? What is the major you applied to and why? Those are academic essays. And then there could be totally personal essays like what is your favorite food? Tell us about an experience. Tell us who you idolize. Who's the person living or dead that you idolize? Is there a person living or dead that you'd like to spend the day with? And what would you talk about? So there are thousands of questions, topics, and it will really depend on which colleges you choose. Then you will see how do I tackle the essay. One tip I'm giving you now, which is if you think you can't tackle the essay of a university, then probably that university will be too tough for you to cope with. Okay? Because from the essay topics, we come to know a lot about the university, and how out of the box think. Okay? So if you look at U Chicago's essays, they are very out of the box essays. Last year their essay was, other than what is odd numbers, there was an essay of orange is the new black, dash is the new dash. Fill in the blanks and tell us about yourself. So if you think I don't even have a clue what to write this, then you may be quite clueless if you got to that university. Because everybody else will be the type who could cope with getting in there. Okay? So that is all about supplementary essays. What are the prerequisites, minimum marks, entrance exams, etc. for admission through Common App? There is no prerequisite. They are highly ranked universities that want you to have everything brilliant, and they are community colleges where even failures can get in. So there is, and all use Common App. Okay? From top to bottom, some 600 colleges or so. No, 1600 colleges use Common App. So there is no one prerequisite. Obviously, to study the subject you want to study, you should have studied it in school. If you want to do chemical engineering, you should have done chemistry in school and physics. Okay? So that of course is a given. Okay? Then it depends on the university. Because in the US, what is different from India is that you are applying to a university not specifically to a course. Have the flexibility to change your course when you get in. So when we apply to Delhi University or Mumbai University, say we are applying to Xavier's for mass media, we are applying only for mass media. We have to be able to show that you have an interest in mass media, you're good at English, you've done some internship in, have the grades, number one. But it's just your board marks. There is no standardized testing that we have in India that, okay. So there's a balance of so many things to get you into a US university, which is why people have counselors to help you find this list. Because to find what is a fit for each one of you in your subject, with your profile, you literally need professional help to do that. Unless you have someone at home. So remember that there is no one prerequisite for the Common App is just a company that collates. That's it. It's not a college. Okay? It collates all these hundreds of colleges, their application, and then sends it to them. That's its job. And they take money from colleges and from you. Okay? So there's no right answer to this. Can we give the same essay to multiple universities? So it is a why us essay. Why do you want to come to NYU? You can't write the same thing for why do you want to go to Purdue or to Berkeley, right? That can be interpreted. But if the essay says, what major are you applying for and why, then you can copy paste some bits of it. The part that you have to write individually for every college will be what research they are doing, what their department is doing in your subject, and why you want to then go there. So that will have to be specific to the college that you're applying to. The abstract essays will never overlap. Okay. So if you apply to 10 colleges, you will write upwards of 30 essays. So be ready for this. Not easy. Have I stunned you all into silence with this? I scared the life out of you. Yes, the US is tough because they are going to be doing the essay, giving you admission before your class 12 results come out. So that is why they have made it really tough for you to get in. Without your class 12 final results, they want to be 100% sure that you will be a good fit at their university. So they've made it really tough. So the application system is only tough, but it's been like this for years. So you're not the first set of students doing this. For years together, kids are doing this. So the earlier you start, the better it is. Okay? So that covers, I think, all our essays, the questions today. And anything you want to ask me? So, no questions.
Okay.
So think about the questions for next time and keep them ready. Make a note as you go through this process, and I'll answer them whenever we meet next. Meanwhile, use the summer to start writing your essays, to start doing research in universities that you want to go to. And because once you come back after the summer holidays, you'll be neck deep in class 12 tests and hard work. So try and use the summer well to get at least some part of the application out of the way. Okay? Okay. All the best. Take care. Bye, Colette.
Thanks a lot.
We are
Amita.
meeting again. You're welcome. We're meeting next Tuesday again. So please round them up.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. We'll start off at 7:30 sharp.
I'll be doing the UCAS application on
That's right.
Tuesday. The
That's
UK.
right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll wait for the questions then. Yeah.
We are doing the essay personal statement.
The personal statement. So we'll just do
Personal
that.
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Namita.
Okay,
Yeah. See you. Bye-bye.